So, for the rest of the journey, the gnome doesn't say a peep, staring mainly back between Jarek and Keen as if his two best friends are about to start fighting.
Wow, he grew attached to us pretty quickly.
That'd be fucking weird. Like, what does he do with his gnome powers?
Oh, he makes it very clear that this is a great honor for him because it's,
Hmm.
he's been chosen to guide the champions of Lady
Oh yeah,
Celine.
that's right. We're that.
Yeah, nothing about the Regent of Coalhaven.
That's right. I am Lord Regent of Culhaven.
Yeah, you sure
He
are.
doesn't seem anywhere near as impressed by that.
Oh, good. He's also
Um,
champion too, though, so he's got two titles.
About a quarter mile out from Shale's Meadow, the gnome opens up the ground, and you guys step out, and you see that all around you is a dense fog, and it is sometime early in the morning.
Okay.
Jarek, you would know that this is from that being from where you're raised. There are several rivers in the area. It's not. I hesitate to say it's swampy, but there is a lot of small rivers that are a network,
Okay.
and fog in the early morning is not incredibly uncommon
All right.
in this area, though this is on the thicker side.
All right. Jarek will make a pointed, inhalation of breath, like, home. Just looks exactly how I remember it. Pointedly at the thick fog.
Uh,
Great. Pearson says,
What are we looking at?
"Home."
We are in a northwestern Coalhaven, some distance away from Shale's Meadow, I imagine. Could you, like, you're looking down at the gnome, could you orient me? Like in the direction he says, like, looking at the fog.
the gnome nods and points down south. He says, "Just straight direction that way. You'll reach the south side of the village."
Right. The terrain around here is a bit wet, particularly with the fog. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I can't imagine it's a demon trick, considering how prevalent it is. However, it will be difficult to spot anything that might be waiting for us. So do keep that in mind. We do have companions who are unfamiliar with this whole personal business, he says, like looking pointedly at the scholar and doctor.
The scholar nods, and Alkeen nods his head, and he says, "No, I completely understand. I will bow to your better judgments in anything not pertaining to the health of individuals."
Good, I'd rather you not die.
Yes, I would rather that as well.
I'd have to raise you and properly speak with you then in order to communicate and learn what you know about these things, and that would be unpleasant.
He opens his mouth to say something, stops, closes his mouth, and then begins writing something down.
Jericho thinks of offering unless you would be interested in that exchange, and then like another time.
The gnome says, I brought you guys out a little bit to the west and a little bit south of the village. I figured as far away from the front lines as possible. I'll wait here for however long you need. Just come back here when you're ready to come back to the tower."
Very well then.
Someone more acquainted with Lady Celine. Has there been any reports of assassins lately?
GM,
Um,
has there
well,
been?
here's an important question. Has anyone been more acquainted with Lady Celine than Cole in the past 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I recall
Not
correctly,
been.
I was learning spells from her.
That's true, you were. Okay.
Keen would be the person who spent the most
Yes.
time with her.
Actually, and Pearson, you would know too because you're
Yeah.
the contact with Point Network.
Neely, yeah.
You know that Nye's golems have been seen around, and with their ability to change shapes, they have been a menace. However, you also know that their menace is limited because it would seem that they cannot keep their shape for extended periods of time. So
Okay.
while they have been a problem, they're not a plague, I guess is what you would say.
Gotcha. As far as threat priorities, they're not like super red. They're more of like
Exactly.
a yellowy orange.
They're not a trump card. Yeah. They're a nuisance.
They're just minor annoyances
Mm.
at this point.
I wouldn't say minor. They're definitely they
Assassins.
assassinate
They are
people.
fucking annoying,
Yeah.
but they're not going to just come in
Okay.
and kill everybody.
Okay. All right.
I'll keep
Good.
my eye out. And this time I will yell. Correct?
Yell.
I believe Jarek has.
Jarek
told me
will
to-
nod. He remembers.
Good.
Did Baby Junior come with us?
Yes, Baby Junior did come with you.
Oh,
Baby Junior's
Did-
never away from your side unless
Junior
she's
has
away from
grown.
your side.
what about Kip or Olivia?
No, they are not here at the moment. They expect to be at the meeting, but they have not arrived yet.
Okay.
Won't do. No telling how long this fog might last. Let's begin moving.
And with that, you guys follow the gnome's directions and arrive in the south section of the village. You very quickly come across a paved
Holy fuck,
road,
that-
though it's not an incredibly well kept paved road. Someone at some point made a paved road into the village, but it looks like it's rather old. You do begin to see a collection of not huts; they are stone, like brick and mortar houses with thatched roofs. The village does look rather permanent, if small, and especially even smaller in the fog. But as you approach it, you don't see anyone working in the fields. It is early spring,
Okay.
so you don't see anyone in the fields whatsoever. You don't hear much noise from the village itself.
This is highly abnormal then, right?
For people not to be in the field, yes. For not to hear noise in the village at such an early hour, I mean, it's not going to be it's not going to be noisy, but
Right.
you expect to hear some things. Yeah.
Sounds of life.
Pearson will mutter to everyone, although they might not have expected us specifically, that doesn't make this any less of a potential for a trap. Every instinct in my gut is screaming out right now.
What else does your gut say?
It says, send in the gnome. Send in the gnome. No, wait, no. That's not right. I'm just hungry. Pearson says,
Finn
But-
slaps him a little bit on the shoulder.
sorry. Sorry, you're about to
like
say
the
something there,
idea.
Grimmeth.
Jarek will frown and say, might as well call these things out if it is a trap.
Mhm.
If there's going to be enemies, at least I want to know. And then he'll like clear his throat, then begin like stepping like on the road.
Is there nothing you can do to clear this fog, Jarek?
And Jarek like looks around at the fog. Is the fog magical? Scott, that's what I'll be asking.
What the fuck is this fog? What the fuck
That was
is this?
forced. We'll go ahead and use a magical background skill check. I got a 2. If I was using hand-to-hand combat, I could re-roll.
Yeah, me too. Reroll
Punch the
buddies.
fog away.
I've forgotten a lot of things about my character, but I've never forgotten that I can reroll on a 2.
You do not sense anything magical about the fog itself. When you concentrate on the fog, it does feel rather. It is lacking only one feature, and then when you concentrate, you kind of realize this. It's not cold, misty cold like fog usually is. It's not like warm or hot or anything. It's just not misty cold.
And Jarek says, well, I don't think it's magical, so it's not something I can dispel. And I don't have anything in my arsenal that I can use to blast away fog.
Pearson gestures over to the nearest house on the right there. Actually, can we see that house through the
Yes.
foggy haze?
Yeah, the foggy haze is not. It's so thick. It's not like one of those like you can't see your hand in front of your face. You can still see a good distance. It's just
A pain
fog.
in the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Pearson says, then I suggest we just carefully go house to house, see if we can't find someone to give us some answers to appease that anxious feeling I got.
And Jarek looks at Cole. Keep an eye out, will you, Cole?
Cole will nod and try to um, when the group is approaching the house on the right, I'm assuming.
Sure.
I'm going to at that time get on top of the roof.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd do that.
Right on the roof.
I can roll for that if needed.
Might as well. You might roll a 1.
All right.
It's always a possibility.
That's the optimistic. You might roll a 1. Let's see what happens.
There's a 5% chance of you being a fuck up. Might as well see.
I'm assuming this is dexterity, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The giggles.
You have no trouble making it onto the roof. In fact, quite nimbly and quietly. If you choose to do so quietly.
Oh yeah.
Pearson has broken into many a house in his wayward youth. I wouldn't mind doing a skill check to see if I can't carefully creep around the back and peek through any sort of windows undetected.
Sure. By all means.
I will also let the party know what the hell I'm doing, so people.
I mean, after all, there's fog involved, so anyone would have a
Exactly.
hard time seeing you.
Yep. Especially, I won't send any notes Finn's way this time.
That's a horrifying.
I love that fucking artwork. I looked at that a few weeks ago of like looking like these stupid paper airplanes like zipping through the air and knocking like Finn in the face.
Dexterity as a base there, GM?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so +2 plus my level. And I got that.
All right. You are able to sneak around the house. And you see a window on the back.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. There's no glass or anything. It's simply a hole in the wall.
Okay.
You peer inside, and you see a elderly woman rocking in a chair, knitting a blanket. She has not noticed you.
Okay. Is there, just out of curiosity, no, I can't ask you if anything's suspicious. That's a loaded question. Is there anything suspicious? Yes or
She's
no?
knitting fast.
She's knitting really fast. Is her back towards me?
No.
Okay.
Her front is towards you, but her head is down, concentrating on her work.
All right. Does she look phased or anxious or in pain or anything like that? Very
No.
neutral? Okay.
No, rather neutral.
Okay, then Pearson's going to scoot around, and he'll say, probably best just to knock. Just some old lady doing some knitting.
Yeah,
Alright.
Snorts. And he'll fucking like step up to the door and because he's a fucking twat, he'll use Mage Hand to like rap on the door for him so that he does not have to sully his gloved hands.
Finn gives a look.
After a few moments, the door opens just a little bit, and you see an elderly lady say, "What is it? What do you want?"
Good day, ma'am. I am from the capital, and I am most interested as to what troubles this village. Shale's Meadow is normally a prominent facet of Cullhaven, and yet I do not see anyone out there in the fields.
Hang on, give me a second. The way you spoke obviously unsettled her, and she looks a bit scared. However, she is able to keep some composure, and she says, "Right, I heard Leolin requested aid. You're from the Sunset Tower?"
We have come on behalf of Lady Celine, but I, in particular, have interest, and the magic will start to impact the ghost sound as Lord Regent of Cullhaven.
Oh God.
Hi, I'm an elf from the
She
Sunset Tower.
She shrinks back a little bit, but again manages to maintain some form of composure, and she goes, "Right. Well, my lord, sorry, we don't get many of your kind way out here. Um, well, yes, you'll be wanting, and she kind of like has a shaky hand that points to further north. Wanting the hospital, then I would assume. I'm not sick. I have nothing to do with it. The hospital over there. That's probably what you want."
Jarek will lower his head down a little and say, "We'll head there then. But what can you tell me of life here recently in Shale's Meadow? I am deeply concerned for the Queen's people."
She nods and she says, "Well, other than people getting sick, fairly normal, I'd say. Uh, I mean, fields are coming in, crops are coming in nicely, and we hear the fighting off in the distance sometimes, but it hasn't come over here. The only thing I guess I could complain about is this damn weather. It's just been so humid lately. It's hurting my joints."
Jarek says, "How long has it been? Has it been foggy every day?"
She nods and she goes, "Yes, it's odd that. I mean, we've had spells of fog before. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'll
it's
nod.
nothing."
And he's like, when did you first note the signs of sickness here in Shale's Meadow?"
She, like, thinks and she goes, "Oh, maybe 2 weeks back, I suppose, but Leolin would know more about that than I would."
Sure. How long has the fog been consistent, this humidity? Around the same time?
The fog?
Yes.
I suppose. No, I think the fog came before I heard of anyone being sick.
Does the fog last all day here? Pearson asks.
Not normally.
Okay.
She shakes her head and she says, "No, usually the sun will evaporate it in a few hours."
Very well then, madam. We will leave you to your fair business. Thank you for your cooperation. Jarek will flash a perhaps slightly menacing and tinged with purple spark smile.
She nods and she goes, "Well, anyway, the hospital, in that direction," she points again.
Jarek will nod and say, "Good day to you then."
Yes, 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 and she closes the door.
Pearson will go over to Keen and he'll say, "You spent quite a bit out. Wait, Cole's on the roof, so he can't. Yeah, he's not gonna yell up to him, or he'd ask Cole this too. But he'll ask Keen, you've been outdoors quite a bit. Is this sort of fog usual?"
Well, I very rarely ventured into Coalhaven. I was more of a freelance guy myself, but
So you're not familiar with this terrain at all, I guess.
not very familiar now.
Okay. All right. Pearson will give a bit of a shrug.
Jarek will snort and say, "Yes, Finn, I still am."
Sorry, I said that really quietly. Good to see you're still a people person there, Jarek. I was getting my throat.
Pearson will call up to Cole. "We're heading over to the hospital that way."
Wait.
Hmm?
Finn's gonna try to climb the roof.
Oh, okay.
Jarek stops walking, turns back and rolls his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to remember how to make a skill check.
Okay. So what you'll do is add take your level,
Oh.
which is 6, your parkour, which I forget what your parkour is.
I forgot to. It's 5.
Okay. And then your dexterity. And
Dexterity modifier.
right.
6,
And
so 11, and my dexterity.
yes, and then also Taz
Four.
gives you something, even though we don't really
Blech.
play Taz anymore.
Oh.
Taz gives me something. Oh right.
Was it a +2 bonus or something?
Yeah, it's
Unless
something like a plus 2.
No, I think we put that in.
The
It's
Taz
on
when you got
dexterity.
Baby Junior.
Yeah. You
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking
subbed
about
out
it, yeah.
Taz.
Yeah, whatever. Here we go.
You do an even better job
Biz.
than Cole did.
Oh, someone's a show off.
1 second. Finn tries to backflip to show off.
You stick the landing, but you don't you have to step a foot out to catch yourself.
Judge holds out a 7.
Score. Hey, Cole. Cole,
Yes.
we're gonna go to the hospital.
Cole will nod and normally just kind of step off the building.
So he like takes a step and he just goes straight down.
Pretty
Like
much.
a Dick Van Dyke short.
Cole and Finn, if you could roll me. Cole, obviously your level. Cole, do tracking. Finn, what are your skills again? You've got parkour,
Move, talking, and army.
army, for you, and intelligence or wisdom for either of you, whichever you feel. Is
I'll
higher.
go with wisdom because my intelligence is 0.
Yeah.
Didn't it used to be -1? Isn't that an upgrade?
Oh,
for
dang,
that?
Cole! Yeah.
Critical
Okay.
insight.
You both hear Cole more acutely as you start to get down off the roof. The woman inside is coughing. Cole, you can hear that it's a deep hacking cough.
She's old. Old people cough. That's
Well,
what
people do cough. But Cole doesn't really know old or people very well. So he's going to assume the worst.
Right. Let's go.
And then go.
Let's go.
He's gonna assume the worst and then go. All right.
So, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, right?
Like Jarek looks at Finn and Cole as they hop on the roof. Well, you see anything?
Fog.
Fog, buildings, roads, the hospital.
Heard the old lady.
Or the old what?
Was she talking?
Nah, she's just coughing.
It seems like she probably came down with whatever this is.
Yeah, Cole, she's old.
Jarek
Coughing.
will actually look towards Scholar Man over there who has an amazing power.
Yeah,
Kirsten
Alfie will
will
say,
do the
what
same.
kind of coughing? Was it, did it sound like there was,
Deep,
lung?
raspy.
I mean, it's cough. Finn shrugs.
I see.
Like if somebody was growling, but a cough.
She
He
wasn't-
nods as Cole says it, and he says, I should probably come check on her later, but first, the hospital.
I
Yes.
wasn't observing her for any particular weaknesses beyond her old age. If she actually is feeling well enough to not be in the hospital, I have concerns about who might be in there.
Elkin will nod his head and he says, yes, but I've also known many old people who should be in a hospital and are too stubborn to admit it.
Yep. She was denying it pretty quick. Regardless, on our way there, can Pearson be like, hey, can I get more of those herbs that you've been giving us? You know, just in case.
He hands you the rest of the handful that he was munching on.
I will also munch down. I will eat like a cow grazing. Nom 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 nom.
Yum, yum, yum. All right, you guys make your way to the hospital, which is this building right here.
Okay.
Wait, this one?
The one I'm closest to.
Yeah. And the door is right here.
Okay, there.
That.
Oh.
Sorry. Ow,
And
right.
the door is closed.
Oh my
but
god,
it is...
stop it.
Trips over baby Junior. Wah.
Jarek will lift a hand as if he's about to knock on the door, look towards the others to see if they want to do anything first.
Jarek, do you want me to try knocking on the door first? I mean, you did such a great job before. Might as well give your knocking hand a break. Break?
Jarek will blink and say, I know what you're trying to do, and if that's what you want, that's fine.
Pearson, while scratching behind Baby Junior's ear, will nod and gesture to Finn. Go ahead.
All right.
Jarek looks over at Cole as he Cole wants to fucking do anything.
Cole looks like he was gonna step in if the conversation was any longer and do it himself.
Thankfully, we avoided that incident. Hello, housekeeping.
As you knock on the door, you hear a feminine voice from inside. Come in, come in. And do you enter?
Sure.
The ambush. 7 people with ready bows strike you.
As you open the door and start shuffling in, you see a long house with several beds. The fog is creeping into the house through cracks in the walls and the floor, and Grim, your character would know too that a lot of these houses, I mean, they're not built to keep mist out. So fog would commonly creep in, and so that itself is not incredibly unusual. But the feminine voice, you can see a thin elven girl bent over one of the beds, and she doesn't even turn around to look at you, and she says, whoever it is, put them on the spare bed. I will look at them when I can.
Hi, we're here from Lady Celine. Here to check out about an illness problem.
As you say that, the elf stands up, spins around, and rushes to you. Oh,
Hi.
thank goodness you're here. Hi, my name's Leyland, and she holds out her hand.
Finn kind of does the like shakes it, and then like when she's not looking, just rubs her hand on like her pant leg.
She says, so you're doctors?
Well, we got this guy right here. That one.
Alkin is actually over here staring at one of the people on the bed,
Yeah, that
mumbling
guy
to
is
himself.
looking at the person.
Pearson says, we did bring some medical aid, but we're investigators. Tell us as much as you know about this illness.
She nods and then looks around and then steps a little closer and says, quietly, if you don't mind, I'd rather not upset anyone who's already here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much. I'm not trained to heal. I'm a simple scout that was staying here for a while, but whatever this is, it doesn't seem to affect me. About 2 weeks ago, the first case dropped ill, and every day more and more have dropped. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know what it is, but I do know the symptoms include extreme nausea. They get very dizzy. They vomit a lot. They can't hold down any kind of food. They can barely drink water. They feel excessive pain. They complain a lot in their abdomen and headaches. They claim horrible headaches.
Let's see.
And as she says this, Alkeen is nodding to himself and looking over the person. And he goes, have you noticed their eyes? And she goes, yes. Their eyes seem to be getting, well, I don't know what else to call it, but black flecks in the white parts. Here, come. And she motions to you guys to come closer to...
Pearson will be as far away from the sick person as he can, but as they move over, Pearson is going to go over to Cole and say, I don't know whether as much as you might. Does it make sense that fog is inside of the building?
Cole looks around a bit, goes, usually not, and he's going to have a very, inquisitive look around his face. You could probably tell that he most likely does not know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Great. All right, no problem. Anyways, Pearson's just fine from here. He will take everyone's word for it about the black flecks on the eyes. He's going to stay right patiently right where he is.
For those who have come, Jarek and Finn and Alkin, you'll notice on the whites of their eye, on the patient's eyes, as she's sleeping, but of course Leolin opens the eye up, and you can see on the white parts, it's almost as if someone put a tiny splotch of oil in different parts.
Yeah.
There's these little dark, oily flecks that just like are on the white of the eye.
That's cool, but also
Jarek
creepy.
will lean down, perhaps like creepily, not like hovering, a bit like above like the woman's face, like scrutinizing. Is there any like perhaps like a detect magic thing? Is there any magic specifically radiating from this woman who's lying on the bed?
Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Now your magical knowledge skill.
Oh,
shit!
You are incredibly confident that you don't sense any kind of magical energy from this person.
Jarek will immediately look towards the doctor who's traveled and says, "This isn't magical."
Okay.
Alkeen will look at Jarek, and with a much more serious expression on his face than you've seen probably before, he goes, "That's worrying." He looks down and examines her, and he says, "How long ago did she fall ill?" And Leolin says, "This one fell ill about a week ago." And he nods, and he says, "What about the first ones? The ones that fell ill 2 weeks ago?" And she very quietly says, "He's over there." And she motions to the corner of the room where there are curtains blocking off a bed. She says, "I put up the curtains to not upset the others. Well, come see for yourself."
Finn gives a worried look.
Jarek is giving a worried look at the doctor. His natural assumption was to think that this was magical, and just like he's pretty damn confident.
Yeah.
When you all crowd around the bed, and she pulls back.
Nope, not all. Not crowding.
No.
Hanging out.
She pulls
Hanging
back
out.
the curtain, and what you see is not laying on the bed, but sitting in an upright position. You see
Spider?
basically this. Give me a
Person.
second.
Oh man, that is
So-
definitely not
Ah!
a spider.
Jesus!
Finn like bolts back. Oh my gosh!
You see this. Their skin is incredibly sunken. Their lips have actually been deteriorated back. It's as if they chewed their own lips off. Their face is almost skeletal. There's no hair. You see large chunks of flesh missing from the body. And she says, I know how horrible this looks, but I don't know what's causing it. I do know that most of the wounds he did to himself." And it's the man, if you want to call it that you see in front of you, is sitting there, kind of staring at you, very docile. And
Oh, sorry. Well, I just wanted to say, out of character, there's that little figure on the bed, and I couldn't see what it was, so I was leaning
that's
really
definitely
close
like
to my monitor to see it, and then bam, that
then
fucking
boom.
picture showed up, and I'm like, oh,
great.
god damn it,
That
my
looks
heart.
like a humanoid to me, some like how the Hellraiser basically.
Yes, it
Yeah.
did, and I'm like, oh, let's investigate. Boom! Ah! Son of a bitch!
So, Keenan's going to take out some of those herbs and start chewing.
Jarek will not recoil, to his credit of being a fucking necromancer who's
Yes.
seen worse, but he will he'll look, he'll blink, and he'll say, "That's not magical," like sort of like incredulous at himself.
Finn is just slowly putting the person that's sick and Jarek in between them.
you will notice also that he is bound to the bed, and Leolin says he had to be tied down to keep him from hurting others.
He was violent?
She nods and she says he hurt himself and tried to hurt me. And as she says that, he starts straining against the straps. Wordlessly, not a sound escapes his lips, or lack
Has
thereof.
he chattered or said anything at all since his anything in particular note? Leyland?
Leolin shakes her head. I don't know if he can talk or just chooses not to. I don't know.
Squee,
Mm-hmm.
Pearson kind of grew up, spent a lot of his youth in the dregs of Whitebridge, so there'd probably be a lot of poverty, a lot of disease. Plus, his wife works in a hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering. I was just wondering if I could do some sort of skill check or anything. If Pearson has seen any sort of disease this severe before, for lack of a better word.
I have an interesting way to go about this.
Okay.
Do your level, your intelligence, and your family man. Under the idea
Oh,
that
yeah.
your family man
Dog.
is you spent time with Carla. You would have spent time with her in her job and around her. So
Yes.
if
Okay.
your knowledge would have come,
Ooh.
it might have come from time you spent with your wife.
6 plus 3 plus 2. Yeah, there's that one. All right.
You can't really seem to recall.
Okay.
I was gonna
Then
say, maybe you weren't the family man you thought you were. No,
maybe Pearson was a little squeamish around disease because it wasn't an enemy he understood.
Well, actually, I was about to say he fucking hates disease. You can't punch a virus. So while Pearson was going to make the observation that he never saw anything like this before, then it must be demons, but he can't even be certain of that, so he's not going to say anything.
I should also note, this is a general knowledge thing, that in this world, they have no one here or it's not common knowledge anyone that knows of has ever heard of germs or viruses. This is before that level of knowledge. They know that there's sicknesses. No one's quite sure how or why. There's tons of rumors and theories, but viruses, germs, these are not things we know of in this world.
You solve problems with leeches, damn it.
Yeah, and bloodletting. Yeah.
Like there's a thing called disease, and they knew,
Right.
sometimes it spreads some way, right? But the actual idea of germs and viruses, I get you. Okay.
Correct. Some of the more civilized places, like Whitebridge, has dropped the superstitions of it's because you're sinful or because you're evil, and they do know enough to know that things like cleanliness, or like dirtiness and pooping around your water source does tend to bring it. But that's about the advancement of common knowledge.
Jarek will suggest out. Do they use one of the nearby streams, or is there a well in the village?
She shakes her head. She says, "There's no well that I've ever seen. They divert the rivers to the crop fields and get their water from there."
Jarek will say, perhaps there's something wrong with the stream, but he's only muttering that at this point. This is not his area of expertise either. He knows how to hurt people. These were the wounds caused by a torturer. Yes, he's there, but
Yeah.
Alkeen tries to get closer to him, and the thing kind of lunges at him, and he backs up and he goes, would one of you be so kind as to restrain him? I need to study him.
Dib's not it.
Jarek looks over at Cole.
Cole is actually currently waving his hand in front of the thing's face to see if it actually has any reaction.
It lunges at Cole.
Finn's just
That's a
making
reaction.
noises with her throat.
Yeah.
He stares and starts just growling at it.
Jarek blinks.
Cole, if you want to get the legs, I can get the upper body.
Leolin says, "I'll also help. I don't seem to be affected by whatever this is."
He brings up a finger and goes, and it's to it's been a while. Burns' character.
Keen.
Keen, thank you.
Remember Commander Keen?
Remember the hag who made us forget his name for a session?
Oh
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
You forgot about the hag.
I forgot about forgetting.
My mind is blown.
And we'll actually go to the man sitting in the bed.
All right.
How do you feel?
It just stares at Cole. And Leolin, who has gone to the other side to help hold him down, says, "It's no use. After about 2 weeks, no one responds."
I am going to shapeshift my hands into draconic hands and try and hold them down. Claws and all.
Leolin looks at that, her eyes wide, and she goes, Okay, now that's happening. And then she looks at the rest of you like, what?
Just
Jarek
don't worry,
looks
that's
at
normal.
Leyland
Sorry.
like, what?
Leyland goes, had I
I
not
never
had the
said
few
I'm
weeks
human.
I've had, I might have been much more startled.
Let's
But
focus on the task at hand so that we can get you out of
yes,
there.
Yep.
yes, let's. And Alkeen starts taking measurements and studying the person. And he goes, this could take some time. Perhaps you guys would like to go to the tavern or something.
Jarek looks pointedly at the doctor and says, I would not want to leave you alone, for reasons earlier discussed.
Right, quite right. Well, then I will try to be as. And as he says that, the being struggles very heavily in your arms, Keen.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me.
Strength check?
Yeah, roll me your level plus your strength.
You got like a bounty
And-
hunter background? Maybe you like restrained people before in the
Yeah,
past?
I was gonna say
Yeah.
add your bounty hunter background, and we're gonna do your full bounty hunter background because while I don't think that would be your focus, you have dragon arms, so
Yeah.
we'll just do your full bounty hunter bonus.
Okay.
Jeez. All right.
He's staying put.
It it lunges and struggles and but it starts basically flailing all of its limbs, and you hold it down, but it's being as uncooperative as possible. It's flailing every limb, it's gnashing its teeth, it's shaking its head, it's not stopping.
Jarek says, we'll look at the doctor and say, would it be easier for you to study him if he were no longer animate? Jarek will try to put as politely as he can.
The doctor looks at Jarek and he says, My job is to heal, not to kill, but... And he looks at the thrashing creature and he says, but in all my years of healing, I have never seen something do this. I wouldn't even know how to begin to heal it. I think the best thing we can do is... And he doesn't finish.
Jarek looks, that is bad news indeed. We'll have to let Lady Celine know. I'll have to let my people know.
And you start to hear murmurs on the other side of the hospital. What's that noise? Is everything okay over there?
Yeah, everything's great. Just
Yeah.
doing a routine checkup.
Yep.
Finn says in her most convincing voice ever.
Roll me a smooth talk.
I was hoping for that.
Yeah.
Yay, smooth talking.
Smooth talking.
Do you still have
Yeah.
like that circlet of fitting in, Kriana? Like, he looks
yeah.
perfectly, natural,
Oh,
nothing out of the
I
ordinary
think
here.
I gave that to someone. I don't think I have it on me anymore.
Damn
Or if I
it.
do, it's like, I don't know, I left it on my bed back at...
Gave it to Jarek so he could fit it on.
Isn't there
didn't
like a
work.
skeleton walking around with it or something?
Yeah, that fucking skeleton had it for the longest goddamn
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, but
do you
the-
still
the
have
man-
it? Didn't you
the
give it
man
back?
We gave the skeleton belt back. Yeah.
Ooh.
You hear? Oh, okay. Well, just let me know. I mean, you guys are gonna help, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah. We got this. We just gotta do some more investigating. Isn't that right, Pearson? Dr.
That-
Pearson?
Uh,
Finn, corrects
Pearson.
herself, looking wide-eyed at her.
Pearson.
Jarek's eyes flash ominously and malevolently at the struggling man.
But Pearson will say, "Yeah, we're here. That's why we're here. We're here to help. Don't worry." Anyways, that was it.
Jarek will then looking at Cole and Keem. It's either the rope or Jarek, leaves the oar just like hanging there in the air.
But
The doctor is silent, and Leolin's kind of got her eyes down.
So, Pearson,
Yeah.
any ideas?
No, not really. This isn't my
But I mean,
expertise.
like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure you don't know this about me, but I was brought up in kind of a nice area, so we didn't deal with too much disease and stuff. At least
Gotcha.
this, scarring. There's nothing you can think of that. I mean, that thing didn't even look human.
I know. If it were me, Pearson says, I'd capture one or two people and do whatever I did to them and then put them back into the populace. The problem is that we can't even talk to some of the original victims. Unless there's another way to communicate with them.
Okay.
Ooh, wait, they don't have any fingers.
What?
Huh.
We don't
I
have any
wonder-
fingers?
I don't think they had any hands, did they?
No, they do. They have hands and fingers. But
Oh!
they are horribly like there are the tips of the fingers are almost stripped to the bone.
Ugh.
Wait, Pearson says.
Yeah.
Carla, there was a woman who came in. She lost the use of her legs and her arms, but she was able to write with a pen in her mouth. Maybe. And Pearson will look over to the guys who are about to euthanize this person.
Jarek offered the suggestion of either using rope to restrain this motherfucker so the doctor could analyze him, or Jarek's gonna fucking kill him.
yeah, and I said to make him kneel.
Whoa.
I missed
Oh.
this.
Yes.
We were having
well,
our own
we were talking. We were having a conversation.
Like, Jarek's like looking at Cole as like Pearson's like coming over to like get Cole's
Yeah.
input.
Cole, like many other explanations, will go with, I don't know normal human explanations, and after saying that, but I know you want to know my opinion. Usually in this situation, I don't know anything about research, but in general, it is best to handle this in a very succinct, direct.
What?
Jarek like looks over at Pearson and Finn. Yes.
What we
Wrong?
clearly were missing something. I just came
Yeah.
over to suggest maybe there's a way we could talk to this person once they've calmed down. What are you guys talking about? Pearson asks, looking from party member to party member.
Jarek looks at the frantically struggling, although he has no way of escaping from Keen's hands, and then like look back. What do you suggest for calming him down?
Pearson says, I know a sleeper hold.
Jarek blinks. All right, go for it.
Pearson will first go over to the doctor and he'll say, any more of those herbs left?
The doctor shakes his head.
Yeah, okay. Nah, fuck it, Pearson says, and he's gonna try to put this guy in a sleeper hold.
Basically, like Jarek said that as like put up or shut up if you want to put him in a sleeper hold.
Yeah, and Pearson is not a coward. He doesn't want to get infected by a disease, but he's not a coward. And if it's between... Pearson thinks if it's between killing this guy and not getting anything from him and knocking him out and getting something from him later on, he'll go with the knockout route.
So if fucking like Keen's like check of 30 compared to this guy's check of 8, I'm not sure how well he could resist you wrapping your hands around his neck and choking him in unconsciousness.
Yes.
Unless he doesn't breathe.
Right. What I'm going to do is I'm still going to have an opposed strength check because Keen's holding him down good, but he's going to be thrashing his head. Now, I'm not. This isn't a roll to see if you are able to do it. This is more a roll to see if you're able to keep a good enough grip to
Pinch off
close
the blood throw, yeah.
the arteries. Yeah.
So what do I do? My level and my strength, pretty much?
Your level and your strength, yes, sir.
And how about
you
my
know what,
100 ways to kill a man?
and I was gonna say, you're forged on the street because
Okay.
that's where you would have learned this
That's-
skill.
Yep, full dealy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
All right.
Wait, no, not 10. That was 6 plus 4 plus 5, so take away 6, so that's 26 actually.
It's still way more than what he's got.
Yeah.
You do notice, and Keen, you would notice this too. For someone who is so frail looking, they are immensely powerful. Obviously not more powerful than you, but for someone in that condition, it is surprising.
Yeah.
However, you are able to wrap your arm around him and squeeze, and in much longer than it should. You know that when you're doing a sleeper hold, you're cutting off a blood flow to the brain,
Yes.
and it's seconds. It takes seconds.
Yep.
This takes over a minute.
Okay, but eventually he does.
He does, and you just hear a raspy breathing through clenched teeth.
Okay. Pearson will withdraw, and he'll say, "Do you have water nearby?"
Leolin says, "Yes, there's a pitcher of water right over there," and she'll motion to the back of the room where there is water for washing.
Jared is pulling out his 50 feet of elven rope to like further restrain this motherfucker.
Where was this water gathered?
She says, "Well, the irrigation rivers. They keep an aquifer of, a small, I guess, pond, I guess is what you would say, for drinking water and washing and cooking."
It's better to be safe than sorry. Keen will relinquish his grip because this guy is out, right?
Yes, he is out.
Okay. He will take off his wizard's hat and use it to pull out a large water skin of water and hand it over to Pearson.
Oh, good. Pearson was on his way to the pitcher, but he sees that, so he goes, thank you. Good thinking, he says to Keen, realizing that he might have washed himself in infected water. He didn't realize it, but clearly Keen did. So anyways, he's going to wash his arms and his hands with this water. And then hand the skin back to Keen.
I'm gonna begin further restraining the man under like 50 feet of elven rope. Arms to like the bed, and then like the legs and the ankles to the bed. Basically any way that will not be in the doctor's way of analysis.
Okay.
I have another 120 feet if you need it.
I hope 50 feet's enough.
I have another 120 feet if you need
If
it.
you want to add that too, I don't plan on taking this rope back. Like this guy can have my rope.
Oh. Well, then never mind.
All right. You are able to successfully tie the human down, and as you do so, the doctor starts studying him more closely, and he makes small noises and things like that as he does so. And hang on a second, sorry.
I'm gonna take like a bit of like the cloth or like a bed sheet, like tear it off, like stuff it like over like the unconscious creature's mouth and like tie it there.
And after about half an hour or so of the doctor, he pulls out a bag and has instruments and tools that he uses to measure this and do that. And he, after about half an hour, he says, "Well, I'd like to observe him a little while longer, but I've gotten all I can now. Perhaps we should adjourn somewhere where there are not others that such talk might upset."
Jared,
And Leola says, "There's a tavern in town."
Is it private enough to talk about sensitive information?
We'll see. No one will question me. And Jared will like begin like walking away from the bed.
Okay.
All right. So, are you guys gonna head to the tavern?
Sure. Yep. That seems the best way to yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this tavern looking like all the other taverns we've been.
Reuse assets.
Come on. Don't. I would never.
There's
Oh
fog
my
in this
God,
one.
Seriously?
There's fog in
Hey,
it's
I
completely
recognize
different.
that guy behind the bar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's completely different.
Look, this
Oh,
is
poor
completely
guy.
fog.
Poor guy wanted that kiss.
Look.
Aw.
Wait,
Floor is
you?
blue.
What's this? What's this person in T-pose?
What's this person doing in my tavern?
Get the fuck out of here.
Why are they? why are they
No
can't
more
tell if
kissing,
she's
brother.
got- I can't tell if she's just got her hands on her hips or if she just has nubs.
Eh.
I ran away from the village.
Yeah.
We leave.
You enter the tavern. Oops, I didn't bring the doctor over.
Yeah, so it's
And,
like the doctor guy's on the way.
Yeah, you notice that it is empty except for the innkeeper and one barmaid. And as you walk in, the barmaid comes up and says, "Oh, visitors! We don't see many of your kind around here."
So, just really quickly, Squee,
Mhm.
I want to make a note. All of a sudden, I grew a beard.
I know you fucking grew a beard, man.
Yeah, you did. You
Grew a
totally
beard
did.
He's
like
infected.
that. Awesome.
Just one more piece to the mystery.
Thank you.
Beard growing.
And the Squee's gonna substitute a picture of that disease victim instead of Keen. No, he's a dragon.
Oh, jeez,
There we
really?
go.
Perfect. Perfect. He's a
Okay.
dragon.
Okay. I'm sorry. She goes. I'm sorry. We don't get many
Thank
visitors.
you.
Oh, Leolin, it's good to see you there, darling. Why don't you guys have a seat over there? As there's plenty of room, as you can see. Oh, what a nice little doggy.
Baby Junior rolls onto her back and is like,
The barmaid reaches down to scratch his belly, and then she goes,
her belly.
her belly, sorry, scratch her belly, and goes, "You're a cute little doggy, aren't you?"
Oh Jesus.
Then kind of looks hesitantly at the others.
Pearson, is it as foggy in here as it was in the hospital?
Yes. It's not as foggy as outside, though.
Gotcha.
This is ridiculous.
This is. Pearson will say, if it's okay by you, we'll grab ourselves a table and we'll call you if we need any refreshments.
Well, sure, by all means. And she keeps stroking Baby Junior. And the doctor has been very, very quiet, like thinking to himself. In fact, he's been walking the whole way with like his chin in between his thumb and forefinger, as he kind of mutters to himself quietly.
You.
Leolin takes a seat next to Finn,
Hi.
Sup?
and then
Seeing
sees
feels
Cole,
paralyzed, I guess.
and she goes, "So,
And
I mean, you can help, right? I mean, I know what you said in there, but that can't be the only answer for." And she lowers her voice, "For these people. I mean, there's like 6 of them in there, and there's another dozen in the village."
we'll figure something out. We've dealt with much worse. Right, guys?
That is true. We have looked down dragons' maws and faced down armies of the undead.
Elkin's shaking his head. He's like, I don't know about you, but I've never seen anything like this.
Great. I'm going to just pause you for a second as player and say there's 2 things you should probably pay attention to. Not should pay attention to. That sounds so snippy. I'm sorry. Keen can't control his character, and Jarek wants to talk with the barmaid.
Oh, I don't want to talk to the barmaid.
Oh, okay. Keen can't control his character, though.
I am
It's
stuck
better than
in.
mine.
Thank you.
You seem to be
Thank you.
laboring under the delusion that I didn't know. No. All right.
Burn gets muted. Damn it!
Well, time to leave the call again. Lol.
The barmaid will look up at Jarek and say, "Is there anything I can get you, hun?"
Jarek, who had been clearing his throat a few times, levels a very displeased glare, using all of the noble wrath and intellectual superiority that he can muster. And he will say very calmly, I am the Lord Regent of this entire nation, protector of her grace, the Queen. I am not Hun, and I do not appreciate being ignored. I am here on behalf of all of the people, not just in Cullhaven, but in this nation, to see what is wrong with this village and correct it. My time is precious. I would prefer it not to be wasted. We will call you if we need you. Until then. And he will pull out 2 gold pieces. Have a seat by the bar.
Roll me
Poop
your
myself check.
yeah, basically an intimidation check. Your inquisitive background, unless you would like to make a case for another one.
No, that works.
And of course your level, and then your wisdom or intelligence.
Okay. I'm using knowledge to intimidate her.
Oh, well, actually, I'm blanking. I actually feel really bad about this. Do we have charisma stats?
Yes, we have
Yes.
charisma.
Okay, then go with that one. I don't know why. I was like, we have charisma? Go with that one, because that's obviously...
That's fine. Jarek is looking forward to failing this so that he'll kill her.
Sentences I never thought I wish I heard.
Excuse me, there should be an extra +5 on top of that. I, for some reason, treated my level as 1. That should be a 24.
Okay. She, after the speech, she looks unsteadily at her hands and at Jarek with a not sure if serious look, but she wisely keeps her mouth quiet and goes over to the bar.
Baby Junior looks at Jarek and goes, barf,
Jarek will gesture for BJ to follow the barmaid.
barf.
Does your dog say barf? Sorry, your wolf.
Yeah.
Jarek will pull up a chair and sit here.
Okay. Barf.
Alkin will, as everyone gathers, he'll say, I'll need more studying to figure out exactly what's going on, but there's something in his blood, something that's eating away at him. It's not just eating away at his body, it's eating away at his mind. You've seen the damage he did to himself. That is the damage of a very sick individual, and I mean mentally, not just physically. Even if we could find a way to cure the body, I wouldn't even know how to begin curing such damage to the mind.
Sunset Tower is not far from us, either through communication or through the gnome. Is there anything there that you can think of requesting that can be sent here?
He considers it for a long time. He says, I can't really know that until we find out what's causing it. If we can find out the cause, then yeah, I could think of a few things I could do to maybe find a solution. Or, well, he shakes his head and he says, something this bad, in my experience, a cure is wishful thinking, but a preventative measure, something to keep you from getting it in the first place, that's something that I might be able to do if we can find out where this is coming from.